As far as I'm concerned, I've been there 12 years. I don't think there's been any research done on counseling. If one has been done recently by Ms. Naisiale, that would be good. But there hasn't been any research on counseling to assess the number of hours that counselors take to counsel students, as well as we have mentors in the Substance Abuse Advisory Council. There are currently, I think, 30 mentors, student mentors. These are retired teachers who have been chosen because of their qualification and their ability to communicate effectively with students. And after analyzing the annual reports of the ZAC in the last 7 years, I noticed some very interesting trends and points that are reported in the annual reports. Now, I was acting as chair of the council for a number of months before I was told to leave due to some reasons. Number one is this. The number of hours that the counselors spend in counseling students plus the student mentors. This has not been researched properly, but we see the number of cases that are coming in daily, weekly, and monthly. This is recorded in the annual reports that I was mentioning, I analyzed in the last 7 years. And this is where the need for additional counselors comes in. If we just take the student population as at 12 June 2024, ECE, and there is a great need also to engage counsel in ECE, 17,524 students. Primary, 152,618. In the secondary, 79,071. And the number of ECE schools, 864. Number of primary schools, 738. Number of secondary schools, 176. So these four councils at the ZAC, headed by Master Naisele, are doing tremendous work. And their work needs to be properly analyzed, recognized, and supported by the Ministry of Education through the very point that you mentioned, David. Maybe additional councillors. He has been requesting councillors in the Ministry of Education in the last few years, but there has not been any positive response. Two. I don't know what is happening. Maybe some salary cut needs to be done by government officials so that they can fund the councillor position, 2 councillor positions. So they are really overburdened. They are really overwhelmed. And after talking to them in the 12 years that I've been there are times when they really feel they are exhausted, burned out, stressed, and so they have to take time off. I said, okay, you take 1 day leave, or 2 days leave, or a few hours leave during the working day. So there is a very important issue that needs to be done, a research. And the Ministry of Education have got, they should have a research officer that does the research. I remember when I was in the Ministry of Education, there is a research officer. I don't know whether there is a research officer now or not. Many researchers, the data are available in the annual reports, in the families, it's all there. So there's no reason why the Ministry of Education cannot properly assess through the data that is available. So I'm proposing that the Education Act review considers looking at this particular issue on some practical mini researches to be done. It doesn't take too much because I've done a number of research that enabled me to write policy and proposal papers. And the Deputy Secretary here, another one sitting there, they could witness what we had done in those days. Very basic. Doesn't take too long. You don't have to require somebody from USP or FNU, just an officer from the Ministry of Education, and be guided to do this mini research, political research, David. So that this thing comes out, and then you have evidence, real evidence there. Oh yes, the councils are doing this much work, this number of hours. We need to support them. Is there a burnout? Ask these councils. I have talked to them already, and they have expressed, yes, Master. How many boys or girls did you counsel today? This many. Knock out. When they come back. Right now, I think there are 4 counselors in the ZEC, substance abuse. And poor Mr. Nana said, I pity, but I praise the man. He's been doing a lot of very good, or rather excellent work. These, I'm talking about David, counseling, just counseling alone. Apart from them, they do other work, teacher training, peer education training, community awareness. And IDEDAI, International Day Against Drug Abuse, is coming up in June. They'll be organizing this and going out to the schools with the police, with the Ministry of Health. So they are really overworked. This is why I'm trying to propose here that your team seriously look into this issue through your work with the government to engage some additional councils. Otherwise, they'll be at a breaking point. It's like, putting the last straw on the camel's back. It's about to break. Yeah. We have so many issues, drug issues, relationship issues, mental health issues, all these challenges, all requires what work? Counseling. And they are doing great work. That's my first proposal. A research proposal on the area of counseling, and with a view of supporting the ZEC, because the ZEC was really the leading agency of the Ministry of Education in counseling. Because I recall before there were 29 established counselor positions, and then they were disestablished, reorganized, and redistributed as required by one of the permanent secretary. Masamisa, can you write a paper on how we can destabilize, disestablish, reorganize, and redistribute this councilor's position? And poor thing, a minister came in during one of the government term. He took off, or he took away some of his councilor positions from the Ministry of Education and turned it into administrative workers at Marella House. That means the minister is not realizing the very importance of counseling and is not really considerate about the kids' best interest. That's what I wanted to say. Pinaka.